chimpanzees. You can't miss it because it's humongous. You know, oh, didn't see you there. It's Thomas Edward, that's me, that is, and I'm on Sladeburn Road and Aiking Gill Road, and we're just above Billington, what pretty much is in the borders of Lancashire and Yorkshire. It's pretty much right on the edge, and actually, I think TE is stood actually, I should say, stood on the border, and behind me is quite a spectacular view, but it's not just JJ, the MGZI, you know, he's a spectacular view, is what's behind him, what's even better. Right in the middle, those hills, in the middle one, the biggest one in the middle is Ingleby, and then just to the left of it, that's Whernside. Sort of, it's in the shadows, it's not really as pronounced as Ingleby, but you can see it there. And then to the other side of Ingleby is Pennygent, what's in the shadows as well. It stands out, but Ingleby is quite pronounced today. It's got the sun on it. But I've come up here on this the sun's going down on TE, as it normally does in these videos, but I'm going to take you to something very interesting, what lay in these parts of the world, what a lot of people know about, but some people not necessarily know about it, because it's a TE hidden gem. You know, if you're in the know, you know what it is, and it's got a few tales to tell. So I think we'll go and have a look and learn some more about it, I think. That was a bit of a climb, that was. TE and his dealer boots haven't got a lot of traction on. That was a bit of a, but I'm sure on a wet day that would you won't be able to get up here in those kind of shoes. Now you would have thought I'd come prepared, but you know, TE likes to look smart. Anyway, we're digressing here. What I've come to show you is this huge rock, and it's a good job it's not too tall, because I would be scared of heights if it was any tall. But this fine piece of landscape is the great rock of the Fourstones. Now, I see no other stones, and that's probably you don't see any other stones either. And why that is there was 4 stones there originally, and if you're into your geography, they would have got put on here from the Ice Age, and then when all ice melted, he's got left here, and so forth. But the folklore, like he's got up here, when you're a northerner, there's tons of folklore, and the folklore is the devil put these here when he was on his way to Kirkby Lonsdale over there to do Devil's Bridge. So he left this was part of his luggage. Or another tale I've heard is there's a big giant in Ireland, got angry one day, probably his porridge wasn't warm enough, and he went, whoa, and he chucked a big stone over here, and it went over the sea, and the Irish Sea, and landed here. So, you know, it could be a whole host of things why this stands here, but, so there was 4 rocks, right, and I think the tale goes, is the other 3 got broke up to either be used for because the rock, the actual material, I don't know what kind of rock this is. I'm sure some of you can tell me out there, comment below. So this particular rock, you can use it for tool making back in ancient years ago, and they could build with it for bricks, you know, and stone walls. And what I got told was one of them was broken up to make one, I think it was to make that road behind it. It sort of was the foundation, so they broke it up, and then this was left. This was the last rock standing, so luckily it didn't get broken up, and it wouldn't be here today if it did. So it's 18 foot tall, so it's quite tall beast. I don't know how what it is like, you know, like round the edge. I don't know how much girth it's got to it, but I know it's 18 feet tall. And when it was originally a part of the 4 rocks, so the other 3 what were here, apparently it was a meeting point for the tribes of this county, and well, a couple of counties, because I might say that this is on the border, like I said early on in the beginning of the video, of Yorkshire and Lancashire. It is in the borders, so the tribe men and the chiefs would come into these circles, these stone circles, and have a meeting and talk about who nicked such a sheep and who are you marrying next week and all that kind of stuff. But in today's world, you go down to Punch Bowl down there, or the Black Bull in Billington, and you prop up the bar and you talk on the very, very similar lines. And no, this is 10,000 years ago, and we're still on the same kind of banter, but we have drinking rather than coming and sitting up here. So it's changed a bit, you know, but the humans, you see, they never change fully, but they're still there. The foundations are still there for that kind of carry on, I should say. What else is there to say about this? Partly what I can tell you by standing on here, that over probably the last 100 years, everyone's carved a name on it, and it's got tons of names on it. Tons. Some of them I can't even read. They're so embedded and probably so old that they've totally lost sort of what they actually say. Some look fairly new actually on top here, but it's all, you know, some of it's in slang, you know, the modern world, we're all slang now. Some of it's like just like initials, love such initial, and that's it. There's no like real sort of name as I can see. Now there is, someone's put the flowers up here. I think that was done today before I came. So this is some memorable for some remembrance for someone on here. What's that? We won't go near that. We'll respect that. But no, I can't really see what a lot says on here. That says Jess. No, I can't really sort of even pronounce or read some of it. But yeah, if you want to come up and see this, the great stone of Fourstones, as it's called, get yourself up to Billington in Yorkshire, drive out the back up Slaburn Roads, and you're here. And you can't miss it because it's humongous. You know, it's a bit of a. It's like a few videos before this, maybe a video before this, we went to Blackpool, and Blackpool Tower is a big monument, and you can't miss it. While in Billington, you have to come and see the Great Stone, because it's also a great monument what you can't miss. Just needs a few lights coming up the path, so it's, you know, make it a bit more nicer, but maybe not. We'll leave that. It's probably a bit chat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Oh, a big step at the bottom. Alright, that was 14 steps there. And apparently, well, I think when human life appeared after the chimpanzees, and we turned into a human, someone carved those in there so they could get to the top. And some people say online that that sort of ruined it, you know, because they should have kept it as a rock, and some people say not, because you can get on top of it. But that's their little steps, and they've obviously all acid rain and people using them over the years, they've worn out a bit, so this one's completely on this step. Right, sketchy. I won't like to do it in the rain. Quite a unusual shape on the back. It's not as like slopey at front. It's got all these like carvings in it, or where it's sort of the weather's probably eroded it away. And there's very harsh winters up here, really harsh winters. Yeah, I think this is the only day probably in a year where we've come up where it's sunny and the ground isn't boggy. I've actually come up in normal shoes and it's been pretty good. I normally get wet feet coming up here, so it does have some harsh winters, you know. Now I think this year, I think the berries are on the trees. I think it's going to be another harsh winter in 2021. So this will get a good beating, I think, this year, going into 2022. So it's nice to see it standing here still after all these years, tens of thousands of years, and hopefully it's standing here for another tens of thousands of years. If we look after it, you know, if the younger generations, even younger than me at 24, you know, in the teens, whatever, when they get older, that they appreciate history like this, and not history what's on the hand on a little phone and screen. And they should be coming looking at this and saving it, you know. I'm sure there's probably a trust somewhere for this, where they come up and look after it and clear up any litter and keep it nice. I'm sure there's something like that somewhere. I would have thought so, for something like with great history like this, and you know, and folklore history to it as well. It's pretty amazing stuff. It blows the TE's brain even just thinking about it, you know, because there is a big rock like this in the Lake District up at Keswick. It's actually got metal steps up the side of. That's another thing what's coming, like the Ice Age. You know, it's about 2 times, 3 times bigger than this actually. Even though this is massive, the one up at Keswick's even bigger. But it's got metal steps on, not carved into the side. It's a proper tourist attraction. It's very Lake District, that is. Now over here it's Yorkshire come Lancashire. It was a bit more common over here, so you know, just the stones carved inside, that will do. You know, that's everyone can get up it, and that's fair enough, you know. But I hope you've enjoyed this Thomas Edward video of one of the biggest rocks in the borders of Lancashire and Yorkshire. Great rock of Fourstones, or great stone of Fourstones, I should say. And if you've enjoyed it, give me a big fat like with that like button, and get commenting on the belief, because I like replying to all you guys. TE likes a good sit down and have a good chat with you all. And remember, there's also a Patreon link below if you want to see behind the scenes of a TE video. So you can see all sorts, and you get to even chat even more with TE on there, like big tech speak. And then also, before I say my classic line, there's a notification bell, and if you click that, it will notify you when you get a video of TE. When I upload, something will go off on your phone, what will sound like this. And that thing is, remember to click that big bell. Ding!